Straight ahead on 12 News, a lawsuit after a workplace shooting tragedy.
The Benecke family takes the position that the company should have done something to prevent this from happening.
Then, for whom the bell tolls this time? How about people struggling to beat the bitter cold? But first, a warning about water and the message Brooklyn Center officials want you to hear. 12 News starts right now. The city of Brooklyn Center is taking steps to change what's in the water you drink at home.
Tests show levels of manganese in the water are higher than what the state recommends. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains the issue and what it means to you.
Well number 9 is a noisy place. This is one of Brooklyn Center's wells where water is pumped up from deep underground. The water that comes from here is tested and treated before it comes out here in faucets and fountains around the city.
We have received an advisory that was provided by the Minnesota Department of Health that came out in June of 2012 talking about an emerging issue, and that has to do with the levels of manganese in the water.
Manganese is a natural element found in water all across Minnesota.
This is kind of an area of emerging science at this point.
Buddy Ferguson with the Minnesota Department of Health says too much manganese could damage the central nervous system. But more studies must be done before a law regulates how much manganese is allowed in drinking water.
Statewide, we do not routinely test for manganese. It's not regulated under the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act.
Guidelines from the Minnesota Department of Health say there should be 100 parts per billion for babies who are drinking formula made with tap water, and 300 parts per billion for everyone else. Recent tests show Brooklyn Center's average level to be 350 parts per billion.
It's all over Minnesota. But,
City staff say there has always been manganese in the water here, but because of the health advisory, they are taking steps to lower levels.
So we're going to be changing the way that we blend our water, and we think that immediately we're going to be able to reduce our parts per billion below that threshold of 300.
In the past few weeks, the city decreased the amount of water coming from wells with higher amounts of manganese. Plus, they are exploring other long-term solutions.
From all indications, the water in Brooklyn Center is safe to drink.
The Minnesota Department of Health says if you have an infant less than a year old and if you have water with high levels of manganese, you have 3 options. You can breastfeed your baby, use bottled water where manganese has been removed, or you can use a filter on your drinking water at home. And Mike and Alex, studies so far show that adults like you and I were not at risk for drinking any tap water, but so far there needs to be more science out there before any changes are made.
All right, thanks a lot, Shannon. The family of a Maple Grove man killed in a workplace shooting in Minneapolis is suing the company. Jacob Benecke was among 6 people killed when a worker went on a shooting rampage at Accent Signage in Minneapolis in September. The lawsuit claims that the shooter, Andrew Engeldinger, was, quote, an angry individual who was, quote, rude and abusive to others. The suit says company officials should have known he was mentally ill and potentially dangerous. It blames the company for the way it went about firing Engeldinger.
Large companies, smaller companies that do have problem employees, when they terminate them, they will have security guards there to escort them off the premises, and in some instances maintain security guards on the property to make sure that they don't come back. And that's basically what should have happened here.
Accent Signage was not immediately available for comment.
The owner of a Robbinsdale tax service is accused of preparing fraudulent tax returns over a period of several years. Solomon Frank Sawari is charged with 9 counts of preparing false income tax returns and 1 count of aggravated identity theft. Frank Sawari owned Merit Tax Service in Robbinsdale. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, Frank Sawari and 2 of his employees allegedly recruited customers to sign documents that lied about their incomes. Prosecutors say the fraud generated false refunds in excess of $200,000. The freezing temperatures this week would keep most people indoors with the heat cranked up a couple extra notches.
Colder temperatures, though, also mean higher heating bills, and not every family can afford the extra cost. That's why, as Delane Cleveland explains, the Salvation Army plans to help by using a familiar tool.
A simple ring that echoes through the parking lot on a cold winter's day. It's a universal symbol that says, "The bell tolls for thee."
The red kettle means the Salvation Army to people. They trust the Salvation Army. They know we're doing good work.
Work that Annette Bauer says the Salvation Army does year-round, However, the red kettles are generally reserved for a specific time of year. This year, though, the Salvation Army is making an exception. Traditionally, you'd only see this either during the Christmas season or in an emergency situation, and Salvation Army officials say this recent cold snap certainly qualifies.
Temperatures like this, though, it brings to mind for people who have heat in their house. They're walking to their thermostat, they're turning it up, and then they can imagine, wow, what would it be like if I wouldn't be able to do this at all?
Saturday, at most Cub Foods locations, the red kettles and bell ringers will return for 6 hours. Every last dollar will benefit the Salvation Army's Heat Share program.
CenterPoint Energy is matching all gifts triple. So for $1 that goes into a kettle, they're going to give us $3.
The goal is to help 300 Minnesota families from going without heat during these cold winter
We
days.
focus on seniors, people with disabilities, and families in a crisis.
Bauer says people may have already given just a few weeks ago. However, she's asking people to help just a little bit more.
Hey, this is a one-time deal, an urgent need, and CenterPoint's behind giving a triple match.
Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The Salvation Army bell ringers will be at more than 30 Cub Food locations around the Twin Cities on Saturday from 9 to 3. People can also give online by going to heatshare.org.
Things are coming together quickly for Brooklyn Center-based Surly Brewing to go after a $20 million beer-making venture. Now, Surly has secured all the grants it was seeking to clean up a polluted site in order to build a destination brewery not far from TCF Bank Stadium. The grants total nearly $2 million, the latest of which was approved this week by Hennepin County. A statement from the company called it a big step in the process and will allow Surly to possibly acquire and redevelop the site. It's estimated more than 100 million people will watch the Super Bowl on Sunday.
And some of those viewers will tune into the big event on a brand new television. 65-inch flat panel plasma screens, projection and home theater systems, they are all big sellers this time of year. For one small Golden Valley entertainment and electronics shop, sales on projection systems are up as much as 50% this time of year as people prepare for Super Bowl Sunday.
You see it every single year. And again, maybe a few years ago it was more TVs. TVs were getting pushed heavier. But now, again, we're seeing an uptick in sales with projection systems, full-on theater systems, where people get their custom theater set up for the Super Bowl.
A large screen flat panel plasma screen or home projection system on average can range from $1,500 to $5,000. Coming up in Weekend Showcase, an inspirational message from someone who's a Ms. Minnesota.
She is someone who's familiar with breaking down barriers. Then later in sports, a couple of good matchups in girls hockey as the top teams tune up for the section playoffs.
But first, it's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Seeing a lot of red, it is no coincidence. Friday is National Wear Red Day, started by the American Heart Association a decade ago. Employees at Citizens Independent Bank in Robbinsdale have participated in the Awareness Day every year as a way to call attention to the fact that heart disease is the #1 killer of women.
I think it's important to everyone because just longevity in life is always important, and heart disease in women isn't just affecting older people, it also affects the younger women. And, everyone wants to live longer, and the more support they can get, the better.
Major risk factors of heart disease that can be reversed include diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and smoking. A Brooklyn Park woman is proof that living with a disability doesn't have to slow you down.
Jen Onsum has a form of muscular dystrophy and leads an active life. She encourages others like her to do the same. And in today's Weekend Showcase, Renee Bonneau explains how a night of laughs can help Jen take her message nationwide.
I've always been very active and on the go, and I think that's really what's made me who I am today.
31-year-old Jen Onsum has been in a wheelchair since age 4, but it never stopped her from getting out and getting involved.
I never really thought about my wheelchair as being my wheelchair. It was always a part of me, and it was just a natural part of me to work with.
The Armstrong graduate played adapted sports through middle and high school, including softball and indoor soccer. She's been playing power hockey for the past 17 years. She's even dabbled in dance.
You make my
taking part in a flash mob at the Mall of America a few years ago. Recently, Jen took on yet another activity, the title of Ms. Wheelchair Minnesota.
I can use my personal experiences to advocate for, legislation and equal access, employment, schooling, activities for people with disabilities.
Her platform is the importance for people with disabilities to be active. She hopes to compete in the Ms. Wheelchair USA pageant this summer in Ohio to take her message nationwide, and you can help her get there. The New Hope Cinema Grill is holding a special comedy show Monday night to raise money for Jen's entry fee and travel expenses. It's called Comedy for a Crown and features local comedians.
Last show I drove with my new lady friend. She was yelling at me the whole time. She's like, recalculating, recalculating.
Including fellow Armstrong alum David Harris. It's a night of laughs to support a cause Jen feels is no laughing matter.
It's really important to find something to be involved in. It makes you feel like you're capable and a part of something.
For Weekend Showcase, I'm Renee Bonneau.
Comedy for a Crown starts at 7 p.m. Monday at the New Hope Cinema Grill. Tickets are $15 at the door, cash or check only. Coming up, why it's the perfect weekend to embrace winter.
But first in sports, it's an especially cold competition for Nordic skiers. John Jacobson has highlights of the Lake Conference Championships up next.
John Jacobson with sports. We start with girls hockey and the last few games just before the playoffs.
You want to be skating well before the section play starts, and it's some pretty good teams going against each other Thursday night. The regular season is wrapping up in girls hockey. Two of the better local squads met up in a playoff tune-up, defending state Class A champion Breck hosting Hopkins. Down 1-0, Breck evens it up here. Grace Zumwinkle takes the pass and fires. Claire Mancheski puts the rebound away. It's 1-1 after one period. Early in the second, Hopkins strikes in the power play. The puck comes to Corbin Boyd. She snaps the wrist shot in. It's 2-1 Royals and the start of a big second period. On a 2-on-1, Shorty Sharon puts the shot on net. Kyle Hanley gets the rebound and buries it. The Royals go up 3-1. They keep on firing. Sharon carries it into the Mustang zone and shoots. And it caroms to Leah Chase. She puts the shot in for a 4-1 lead. It's 5-1 Royals after a 4-goal second period. Erin O'Neill isn't about to surrender that lead. She makes 24 saves and Hopkins rolls to a 5-1 win. One of the teams Hopkins will try to get past in Section 6AA is top-ranked Benilde St. Margaret's. The Red Knights took on a good opponent as they hosted fourth-ranked Eden Prairie. First period, Kelly Panic wins a race to a loose puck and tucks the shot past the goaltender and in. It's 2-0 Benilde. 8 seconds into the second period, Sarah Tafe shoots the puck into the Eagle zone. Kaylee Druck plays the carom off the back wall and buries it, and it's 3-0, and the start of a big period for Benilde. Caitlin Riley races in, makes the move around the defender, and scores a shorthanded goal. 4-0 Red Knights. And they aren't done. Mackenzie Steffen with the shot. Panic with a gimme goal on the rebound. It's a power play marker, and it makes it 5-0. On the other end of the ice, Abby Miller makes 23 saves, and Benilde St. Margaret skates past Eden Prairie 5-1. Section meets are next week for local Nordic skiers. Skiers in the Lake Conference raced in bitter cold conditions Thursday. Action from the girls' race at Worth Park, and Wayzata's Elena Sonesson starts as the leader in the second leg of the pursuit format. Sonesson isn't challenged. She easily skis to the win. The combined time, 32 minutes, 21 seconds, earns Elena the victory by 1 minute and 20 seconds on a good day for her team. Sarah Benton of Hopkins is second with a comfortable margin over third-place finisher Erin Stewart of Eden Prairie. Sophomore Anna French of Wayzata places fourth in a time of 34:17, and the rest of her teammates aren't far behind. The Trojans take places 8 through 13, led by Bryn Balls-Barker in 8th place. The Wayzata girls win it, beating out Eden Prairie by 15 points. Hopkins is third, followed by Minnetonka and Edina. The Eden Prairie boys win the Lake Conference with Hopkins second and Wayzata third. Harris Dernberger of Hopkins is the medalist with a total time of 28 minutes, 34 seconds. In girls basketball, Champlin Park looked to get back to the 500 mark in the Northwest Suburban Conference as the Rebels tried to end their 3-game losing streak. Armstrong, meanwhile, was looking for a season split with the Rebels. The Falcons' Lyric Williams with the runner banks her shot off the glass and in for an early Falcons lead. Champlin Park used their size advantage inside in this game. Maria Sampson scores 2, put the Rebels up 22-18. The Falcons then go on a 6-0-1. Samantha Zabracki knocks down a three-pointer to give the Falcons a 22-18 lead. But Ali Zafi hits 2 threes in the closing minutes of the first half. Champlin Park's up 24-22 at the break. The Falcons keep it close in the second half. Rachel Russ with a three-pointer from the corner. That one ties it up at 31. Champlin Park, though, pulls back ahead, going on a 10-0 run. Hannah Cribble scoring 2 inside. And later, it's Callie Zimmerman with a nice pass down low to Genevieve Atkins for 2. Champlin Park wins 51-43 after making some second-half adjustments.
We decided we were just going to play regular man defense and just work hard against the post, and we got a lot of rebounds, which helped a lot, and we made some good shots.
And boys basketball tonight, a lot of games actually going on in sports, including Wayzata Maple Grove. You can watch it live on the web through 12sports.tv.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, we'll show you where you can unleash your inner polar bear this weekend.
We'll be right back.
It is that time of year where some step outside and embrace the cold.
Some, right?
Yeah,
not
some.
everyone. Well, that's not easy to say when the temperature is below 0 as it was this morning. But things should warm up a little this weekend, and 2 popular events in our area are going on as planned. First, more than 900 polar bears, well, people really, are plunging into an icy Maple Grove Lake on Saturday to raise money for Special Olympics. This year, the location has changed to Fish Lake Regional Park to accommodate parking for the larger crowds that are expected. Last year, the Maple Grove location raised $184,000 for Special Olympics.
And in Plymouth, city officials say the weather should be perfect to bring out big crowds for the city's annual Fire and Ice celebration on Parker's Lake. There have been years where it's been too warm to have people on the ice, or actually too cold, but with highs expected in the teens on Saturday, it should be just right for anything from snowshoeing to sled dog rides. And a woman who found the Fire and Ice medallion earlier this month will get her $250 gift card prize. The event starts over in Plymouth at 2 o'clock and wraps up with fireworks at 6:30. So the show must go on this year.
And as you can see, there's something for everybody. So bring the kids. You can put them in a recycling bin maybe and race them across the ice.
Maybe you can jump in, do the polar plunge, then head over to Plymouth. No, probably not.
Warm up in between.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you again Monday, everyone.